It was a serene Saturday morning at 11 a.m., marking almost 8 years since Emma and I exchanged our vows. We live in a charming bungalow on the outskirts of town, where the living room, bedroom, and garage all open onto a sun-drenched terrace. The garage holds our 2 cars, along with my weekend indulgence, a sleek Alia motorcycle. Our marriage has always felt gratifying, and our connection, both emotional and physical, remains strong. That's why Emma's announcement on a seemingly uneventful Monday hit me like a freight train. She told me she had a date lined up for Friday, a day we typically spent unwinding in front of the TV. This wasn't a casual gathering with friends, but a one-on-one dinner with a coworker from another branch of her company. She explained it was his birthday and they had grown close through his weekly visits to her office. What began as casual coffee chats evolved into midweek lunches. Emma disclosed that just last Wednesday, after one of their lunches, he had followed her to her office door and leaned in for an unexpected kiss. When I pressed her for details, Emma admitted he'd asked her out to dinner, and you agreed just like that. I asked, feeling a storm of emotions brewing. He caught me off guard, she admitted softly. We've always promised to be truthful with each other. William, then tell me the truth, I demanded. Did you encourage him? She hesitated before replying. Maybe a little, but it was just a kiss, and you kissed him back. Yes. The revelation sparked a series of heated discussions that dominated our week. Emma seemed calm and resolute about her decision, while I alternated between anger and disbelief. By Thursday night, our conversations reached a boiling point. You're not seriously thinking of sleeping with him, are you? I asked bluntly. Why would you even suggest that? She shot back, avoiding my eyes. You've been glowing ever since that kiss, I retorted. And you've gone out of your way to talk about how attractive he is. She didn't deny it. I'll admit he's handsome. And yes, the kiss was thrilling. But William, this is the first date I've had since we got together. Her words stung like a slap. And yet you're baking him a cake? I asked, noticing the telltale flush on her face. When was the last time you baked one for me? She rolled her eyes. Don't be ridiculous. I always take you to your favorite restaurant for your birthday. Joseph's divorced and wasn't even planning to celebrate. I felt bad for him. Do you even know why he's divorced? I pressed. No, we've never discussed it. But he's a kind man, and I didn't want him to feel overlooked. In that case, why don't I come along? I suggested sarcastically. No, William, it's a date. Her bluntness made my blood boil. So you're saying there's a chance you'll sleep with him? Her voice turned cold. I have no intention of doing that, but I can't predict what might happen. It depends on the circumstances. What circumstances? I shot back. Is it about whether he makes the right move or offers you a ride home in exchange for something? Or maybe his ex-wife and kids will show up and ruin the mood? She sighed heavily, ignoring my sarcasm. I've booked a cab for 6:30. I'm not driving because I know I'll have wine with dinner. The oven timer beeped, and Emma carefully removed the cake, setting it on a rack to cool. Don't touch the cake, William, she warned, her tone sharp. It's just a plain sponge cake. You wouldn't even like it. The jab stung, but I swallowed my pride. Fine. I won't touch it. STIs, IED, she added. I'll decorate it tomorrow before I leave, and don't tamper with the box either. I know how you are. The cake box, pristine and professional, sat waiting on the counter. I promised not to interfere, though resentment simmered beneath the surface. Later, as we moved back to the living room, I asked where they'd be having dinner. At the Marlborough Hotel, she answered casually. Of course, I replied. The puzzle pieces fell into place. Let me guess, he's got a room there too? I said bitterly. Dinner, wine, and a bed. A convenient package deal, isn't it? Maybe they even throw in breakfast. Emma's patience finally snapped. I'm done arguing with you, William, she said curtly before walking away. Her words hung in the air long after she'd left, feeding the doubts and fears clawing at my mind. William, this isn't you. Joseph didn't even bother booking a room at the Marlborough. We're only meeting for dinner. If you let jealousy control you like this, you'll push me toward making choices neither of us wants. Let's stick to the promises we made. I'll honor mine if you do. I'll be home by 11. Emma. But honestly, I hate all of this. Fine, she replied, her tone growing sharper. But since this is bothering you so much, let's make another agreement. What now? I asked, weary. From now until tomorrow when the cab arrives, you won't mention this again. Let me handle it my way without arguments or interruptions. I'll be home at 11 tonight, and we'll talk about everything Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Then you can say whatever's on your mind. Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm thrown by the specific timing. Yes, that'll give you a chance to cool off and realize how insignificant this is. By then, you'll see that nothing happened to harm our marriage. Afterwards, whatever you decide, I'll accept it. But until then, silence. Do we have a deal? And you'll accept whatever I decide, even if it means you can't see him again. She gave a sly smile to make this easier on you. I'll have dinner tomorrow before coming back. That should give you time to simmer down or calm down. Her casual tone infuriated me, but she wrinkled her nose at my silence and added, Thanks for understanding. 2 conditions, I said firmly. First, I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight and tomorrow, and I don't want to talk to you until Saturday at 10. Second, if you cross any lines with him, you'll break us, maybe permanently. She agreed without hesitation. Friday arrived, and Emma was home before me. When I walked in, she was decorating a cake. Bold chocolate letters spelled out, Happy Birthday Joseph. But the pink icing hearts lining the sides grabbed my attention. No soccer balls, stars, or flowers, just hearts. She greeted me with a cheerful hello, but I stayed silent, adhering to our agreement. She shrugged and went back to her task as I headed to the guest room to change. Later, I slipped into our bedroom. In the bathroom, her priciest bath oil was gone, the one I'd gifted her for her birthday. On the bed, her outfit was ready. A short black dress paired with black stockings that tied, and a tiny thong I'd never seen before. A velvet choker with a fake diamond rested on the ensemble. There was no bra beneath the bed. I spotted sky-high stilettos. She'd already drawn the curtains. I checked the bedroom door, locking it and pocketing the key. Later, while I was watching TV, Emma emerged from the kitchen. I'm going to get ready now, she said. William, I know this upsets you, but there's no need. I'm not going to sleep with him. This will all be behind us tomorrow. I gave her a nod but said nothing. As soon as I heard the bath door close, I moved quietly. I went to the garage and uncovered my Alia, returning to the bedroom. I grabbed a sheet from the patio and stepped inside. I pulled down every piece of clothing from the closet, added her black dress from the bed, and emptied her drawers into a pile on top. I placed her purse in the pile. When I left the closet, Emma was still in the tub. I left her stockings, heels, and choker, but nothing else. The shoes were a small mercy. Digging through her purse, I found her phone in the garage. I stuffed everything into the car trunk, except for her purse. A more thorough search revealed a surprise. A pack of 3 condoms we'd never used. Pocketing them, I locked up her things and called the cab company from her phone. It's 6 p.m., I told the operator. I need to cancel a 6:30 booking. My wife is unwell. She's coming down with something and shouldn't go out. The operator chuckled. No problem. Thanks for letting us know. As Emma prepared to leave the bathroom, I rolled the bike out of the garage and strapped the cake box to the seat with bungee cords. After closing the garage door behind me, I hit the road. On the way, I stopped at a store and found the tackiest card imaginable. Pink hearts everywhere. I got a pen from the cashier, who smirked and handed one over. Inside, I wrote, "Stay away from Emma, or this will be your last birthday." On the envelope. This earned a louder laugh from the cashier. I arrived at the Marlboro just before 7 p.m., parking the bike. I looked inside the dining room. It was quiet. Seated alone at a table was a dark-haired man with a bottle of red wine and 2 waiting glasses. With a bakery-branded box in hand, his ensemble was as peculiar as his purpose. An emergency helmet perched on top of his head, and a bright yellow tie swayed with each step. This choice seemed ill-suited for romance yet perfectly calculated to divert attention. The oddity of his attire was his weapon, and it served him well. At the hotel front desk, he announced, "Birthday delivery for Mr. Garcia," with an air of confidence. This was a risky bluff, perhaps, but fortune had been kind to him so far. The clerk barely batted an eye before responding, "Room 108, although I believe he's currently dining." And indeed he was. Garcia stood out against the muted tones of the restaurant, his loud demeanor unmistakable. Wasting no time, the man joined Garcia at his table, uninvited but entirely composed. He placed the box squarely between them and said, "Emma sends her regards," with a smile that carried more menace than mirth. His movements were deliberate. He draped the table napkin over his lap, assuming command of the interaction. The box opened to reveal an exquisite cake, but Garcia's bewilderment grew with every passing second. "Who?" he began, his confusion audible. A hand slipped under the napkin, and the stranger's voice turned sharp. "Happy birthday, Garcia. Listen carefully, one misstep, and this celebration turns fatal. Nod if you understand." Pale and trembling, Garcia nodded. "Good," the man continued, his voice steady but icy. "My wife, Emma, has already shared her side of the story. Lie to me and you'll regret it. Now, how many times have you slept with her?" Garcia stammered, panic rising. "I swear we haven't," he said. "Interesting." The stranger's eyes narrowed. "But you reserved this room for tonight, didn't you?" "I hoped," Garcia admitted, his voice shaking. "But nothing was certain. And Emma, did she know about this?" "Yes," came the weak reply. The man scanned the oblivious diners around them, leaning closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. "As an Italian, you understand the value of loyalty. I'll give you two options. Either I press," his hidden hand flexed ominously, "or you make amends by diving face first into this cake. Choose without hesitation." Garcia plunged forward, his face colliding with the creamy confection. Frosting muffled his groan of humiliation beneath the table. The stranger gave a concealed bag of frosting a deliberate squeeze, ensuring Garcia's lap wasn't spared. "Enjoy your dessert, Joseph," the man quipped, discarding the box alongside a card reading, "Happy Birthday," before leaving. He tipped the remaining wine over Garcia's head and drank the last glass, savoring his triumph. At home, Emma, wrapped in a bathrobe, froze when her husband walked through the door. Her shock quickly gave way to fear. "What have you done, William?" she gasped. William's hand cut through the air, silencing her. "Saturday, 10 a.m., be ready," he growled before heading to bed. Saturday arrived with an early wake-up call. William tossed clothes onto the bed, barking, "Get dressed." Emma's protests about the locked door were met with a jingle of keys and his unyielding smirk. By 10, they were seated at the dining room table, a gleaming cake knife lying ominously between them. Wearing a jogging suit, Emma frowned. "What's going on?" "You'd look better in a dress," William remarked, his tone clipped. "But this works. Let's discuss last night." Her eyes narrowed. "You took my clothes. What else?" "I visited Joseph, told him you wouldn't be joining him. He liked the cake, by the way. Couldn't get enough." Emma's purse and phone landed on the table with a thud. "I deleted your Italian contact. You'll get it back on Wednesday." She said nothing, her silence sharp with tension. "Last week you swore it was just dinner, nothing more. But the hotel confirmed his reservation, and he claimed you were in the suite." Her face hardened, but she didn't deny it. William leaned in, his gaze unrelenting. "You agreed to abide by what I said at 10 today." Reluctantly, Emma nodded. "Here's the deal," he said, his voice final. "You're sleeping in the guest room tonight. I'm filing for divorce and you'll be out by the weekend. Take half the house. I don't care. But no alimony support. Go to Rome or anywhere else. Start over." Her jaw dropped. "William, no!" His hand struck the table with force. "You thought you could sneak around while I sat at home, oblivious, dressing up for him in stockings and thongs. Enough. You made your choice." 3 condoms slid across the table, pinned under the knife. William's voice cut through the silence like steel. Decide what's yours, Emma, because I'm keeping my dignity with that. William rose, leaving Emma to confront the ruins of her deceit, her double life exposed for what it was.